morning, everybody. Boy, that rain come down last night. That door was open and come over here like this, and man, it just pouring off of this side. Yeah, crazy. It was hitting so hard that I had a river going in, coming in that door, coming in that door. Yeah, I think it was like 4 inches in about a half hour. That was a lot. Cleared up, got really muggy after that. About 2 hours later, it come down again. Our pond is over full. Well, I had to do a couple other things first thing this morning. Took me about an hour. So now I'm going to get started back on this. I got to do a little hand sanding around the wheel opening. Those 2 spots there, and then one little spot right there. I'm going to try file boarding that out. If it don't, I know it'll be closer and the primer will fill it, because it's not much. It's just that much that I notice it right there. The rest of the door feels great. I'm going to get this side buttoned up, and then I'm going to come around to this side and do the same thing to it. I'll get this side all sanded out, drop it down, and sand that roof out. I'd like to have from here back ready for primer, and then I'm going to jump onto this thing, start getting all this stuff separated. All I need is right here for this car. But the other one coming in, he needs both inner fenders, the nose, and let's see, these braces up onto the firewall with the frame rail back to the cross member. I got to pull it loose from the cross member and get that section out of the way. That way it's ready when his car comes in. I could just pop it loose there. And he said they cut his across here, so I'll have to clean that up and then put this up in there. And I got one to get measurements from to make sure everything's the same. And that's the reason he brought that in. All right. Well, I'm going to set you up. I'm going to go ahead and I might as well go ahead and mix some putty up for that real quick. And then I'll get back to sanding. All right, guys. A couple of you asked what products am I using? The Bondo is 3M Platinum Plus Filler. Number 01131. I like it. It's good product. It sands good, mixes good, dries real nice. With cheaper products, you really have to wipe them after the Bondo dries with lacquer just to get rid of the stickiness. This has very minimal stickiness after it's dry. Sometimes I'll wipe it, sometimes I don't, but for the most part I just smear it and go. This is 3M short strand fiberglass reinforced filler. This spreads so much better than a lot of the products out there. I really like it, but as with all Duraglass, it sucks to sand. The stuff gets so hard, it eats the sandpaper up, but that's the reason you use it. You want it hard to fill any little pits or holes or anything like that that you might have missed while you're welding. The number is 05816. Now, about a year ago, I was introduced to this stuff, Chromate Light. It really took me by surprise when I opened it because it's green. Yeah, I really like it. Better than the 3M. It's a USC product, number 12050. Use a red hardener in it because if you use the blue hardener, you're not gonna see if you got it mixed all the way. So you gotta mix it twice as much. But there you go. I just wanted to show what products I use. This gallon is all but empty. This gallon the same way, but I don't use a whole lot of Duraglass. I went yesterday and picked this up. So all right, now to get sanding. This is so small that I didn't see it while I was running the file board, so I'm going to go ahead and mark it. Just like so. Now, when I sand it, it'll take all the high and take it back to this color, and it'll leave the dark. Depending on how much I need to sand, all that dark should come out of there because it's not that deep. On a deeper dent, it'll stay there and you'll know where you need to put your glazing. You can see it took it all off all the way around and left it right where the deepest spot is. You can see it is getting a lot smaller. It looks like they used like a Z-chrome to prime these doors. Now what a Z-chrome is it's a primer that thickens up. Some people call it spray bondo, stuff like that. I don't like using it because it will ruin a gun in a heartbeat. It will harden up as you're spraying it. And to sand it is worse than Duraglass. Now, almost every bit of that is out. And if you notice, I'm sanding from here to here, that way it's straight. You're bringing this whole surface down to match that. If you just sand this one area, you're gonna have a big wave and cause more issues. So you wanna feather that back and forth until you get it as straight as possible. And there you have it, it's all gone. Feels beautiful now. All right, now for the two dings. Okay. One rule of thumb that I try to remember is when I'm feeling if something's straight, I try not to look at it, because looking at the different shades will make your mind believe that it is Ripley or whatever, and you'll keep going, and then you'll have a big low spot. That feels absolutely wonderful, but if you look at it, it looks like it's low. That's not low. I took the high down and the high down, and then where I put the two spots is spot putty glazing. That feels really good. And another trick, I like to wear gloves because a body man, he's long gone now, but a body man showed me the difference between your bare hand and wearing a glove or putting a rag between your hand. If you take a rag flat on the material and just glide your hand across it, it will highlight anything that's not flat faster than your bare fingers will. I don't know how that works, but you can try it for yourself. It does work. It's a tight little area right there. All right, instead of sanding this right now, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the other side. When I let it down to do that side, I'll come over and do this side too. Gotta keep your tools clean and oiled. And I have found on this Baxter that if you oil it in the air inlet, it don't work near as good. In fact, I've had it jam up on me because of it. I just pull that plug out right there, dump a little bit in there. That seems to work the best on the Baxter. I've had some really expensive file boards and I've had the cheapest file boards. When Hobo Freight switched to the Baxter, I got one and I've been using this for 6 years now. And for the sandpaper I'm using, can you see it? Norton Gold 120 grit. I could go finer grit on this because it is mostly primed and it looks really good, but I'm using 120 because I am covering it with Evercoat 4:1 and I want something good and etched for that primer to stick to. And there we have it, ready for this side. I'm gonna put you guys on time lapse because you can't hear me talking over this thing anyways. And that noise is monotonous. Man, I'll tell you what. I ain't used to all that sanding lately. All right, back at it. There was another thing I was gonna say. You know, this is 120 sandpaper as well as that Norton Gold. This just the last of the other roll. When you have that on, say that file board, and you go to sand, it will leave it smoother than by hand. I don't know what it is, when you use the power tool, the grit seems to cut down and make it finer. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. Had to find my paper. Easy there, kiddo. And then my parking lot is 40 miles an hour. Okay, I don't know how well you can see, but all that paint down in there is coming loose. I thought, look at that. I mean, I can't get the DA down in there to get it. I thought I had a wire wheel for the die grinder here. Cannot find it anywhere, so I'm gonna have to pick one up to get down inside that channel. I'm gonna go ahead and do all this too, make sure. But until then, I'm gonna sand on the top. see if I can't highlight a few of them spot welds. Really hard to see some of them. This might be funner than I thought it was going to be, getting that thing apart. I mean, these I can tell where they're at. Up here on both sides, I can see that one and that one. All right, let me get the plasma. Clean that lip off there from the other part. Looks like weld one hole up, clean it up, and there's my firewall piece with all them curves. And this one, clean it up, tap it around a little bit from the air chisel, and it'll be ready to go on the other dart. That was a lot of work getting that thing apart. Let's see. This piece over here, the section I need is pretty boogered up, so I'll just make that piece on this one. That roof sucked. It cleaned up nice, but man, did it suck. Remember me talking about Z-Chrome earlier? Z-Chrome is yellow. This is PPG's version of it, and I didn't realize that until I started sanding on it. I started smelling it, and the more I sanded on it, the more I realized it's more than just primer or base coat, something to that nature, because it would not sand. I put 36 grit on the file board, and it looks like I sanded it with 320. I mean, it is that hard of stuff. A couple areas that were flaked, like right there, I took all the way to the bare metal. Now I'll go over this probably with DA because it ain't gonna matter. I'll probably hit it with 180 on the DA, and it'll be ready for primer. Those cracks that I seen weren't cracks, they were where the spray Bondo hardened. As it cured, it put little hairlines in it. But yeah, I gotta sand this area yet, and from here back will be ready. A little bit around the edges, but this will be about ready to shoot. I want to get the inner fenders taken care of, that lower section down there taken care of, and get all this scuffed up. And at that point, I'll probably go ahead, get the booth emptied out. I need to get that exhaust run up through the roof and get it over there to prime it. Get it in the booth under primer, and I can get back on some other stuff while it sets for a couple days. Guys, all that rain we got yesterday, it is absolutely humid today. I don't like the humidity. You know what I don't like worse than that though? I don't like cold. I'll take the humidity over the cold any day. I'll turn the fan on if I need to. All right, guys, I'm gonna jump off here. I'm gonna go home, and I don't know. I might mow, might not. I don't know. Till tomorrow, have a blessed evening.